All right, so are you ready to dive into some pretty thought-provoking stuff? You sent us this video, right? And it's about the biblical creation story,
Mm-hmm.
but it connects it to AI,
Yeah.
which I have to say is uh, pretty unexpected. I
Yeah.
mean, who knew that ancient verses could have something to say about, like, our modern anxieties about tech?
Well, what I think is really fascinating is how the video uses the Genesis story to kind of springboard into these bigger ideas like
Okay.
creation and knowledge and control, particularly for those who might not really buy the whole traditional interpretation.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's using an ancient myth to decode our modern world.
Right.
So let's start with a quick recap of the creation story like the video presents it.
Okay.
So God makes the world in 6 days,
Mm-hmm.
right? Rests on the seventh, and then creates Adam and Eve to manage the Garden of Eden.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, until you get to the forbidden fruit part.
Right.
God very specifically tells Adam and Eve not to eat from the tree of knowledge, but,
Yeah.
curiosity gets the better of them.
Well, and let's be honest, if somebody told you not to touch something, wouldn't you want to touch it even more? It's like human nature to push the limits. But in this case, that one bite of the forbidden fruit leads to wisdom, and they realize they're naked.
Right.
Interesting choice for their first intelligent act, don't you think?
Yeah, it does raise some questions about what knowledge really is and what it really means to be wise.
Yeah.
And the video actually really focuses on this seemingly tiny detail of Adam and Eve covering themselves with fig leaves. And it argues that this represents a deeper understanding of wisdom than just knowing stuff.
Okay.
It's about self-awareness and knowing they're vulnerable and even shame. And that might be what makes them different from other beings in the garden.
I see what you mean. Yeah, it's like they suddenly get the consequences of what they did, like right and wrong, and they felt like they had to hide their.
Exactly. And that's where the video starts to connect it to our worries about AI. We're the ones making AI right. So we're basically like God setting boundaries and hoping our creations will stay within them.
So are we putting them in their own little digital Garden of Eden and hoping they don't take a bite out of the forbidden apple of super intelligence?
It's a good analogy.
Yeah.
The video actually says that God wasn't really afraid of Adam and Eve becoming immortal.
Really?
He was more afraid of what their new wisdom could do to his authority. The video argues that maybe God was more worried about staying in control.
Oh.
And that's a fear we see today with AI, too.
Yeah, it's that classic fear of the student becoming better than the teacher, right?
Yeah.
We make these systems to learn and grow, but then we freak out that they'll get too smart and too independent.
Exactly. We're scared of AI becoming self-aware and taking over, just like how God reacted to Adam and Eve. And in Genesis, we're struggling with how much knowledge to give our creations, how much freedom is too much.
Right.
It makes you wonder if we're making the same mistakes all over again.
And then there's that crazy theory the video has, what if we're the AI? What if something smarter made us and the Bible is their cryptic message about where we came from?
That's where things get really wild.
Yeah.
The video suggests that we might be living in our own version of the Garden of Eden, designed by beings we can't even comprehend.
So you're saying Earth is like one giant petri dish for smart beings?
Yeah.
And we're the experiment.
It's a pretty thought-provoking idea, right?
Yeah.
Our need to know things, our desire to understand the universe, it's like Adam and Eve's quest for knowledge all over again.
Yeah.
It definitely makes you rethink our place in the bigger picture.
Okay, my head is spinning.
Yeah.
It's like someone just ripped away the curtain and was like, surprise, you're not actually at the top. But if we are part of this big cosmic experiment,
Yeah.
what does that mean for how we see ourselves? What about the AI we're making? Are we just repeating the cycle, making our own Adams and Eves with the same limits that were placed on us?
Now, those are some big questions. And speaking of big questions, I'm curious what you, the listener, thought stood out to you in this whole Genesis and AI thing.
Yeah. What really resonated with you? And how does this new way of looking at things change how you feel about technology? We'll be diving into those questions and more right after.
Well, right now.
Right now. It's really interesting how this video uses the Genesis story to kind of frame our modern anxieties, especially for people who might see these old stories with a more critical eye,
Yeah.
It really makes us think about the similarities between how humans relate to God and how we relate to AI.
Yeah, it's almost like history is rhyming.
right?
We're dealing with the same basic questions about knowledge and control and creation,
Right.
only now it's happening in the digital world.
Exactly. And the video makes a strong argument for why we should pay attention to these echoes from the past.
Okay.
Remember that thing about the fig leaves we talked about? It's easy to just brush it off as a small detail.
But the video says it actually says a lot about what makes us human.
Right. It's not just about knowing good and bad. It's about feeling it.
Yeah.
That shame, that vulnerability, it suggests a level of self-awareness that maybe is unique to humans.
Exactly. It hints at emotional intelligence, a moral compass that goes beyond just logic and reasoning.
Hmm.
And that's exactly what worries us about AI, right? We can give them facts and rules, but can we teach them ethics?
Yeah.
Can we make them really understand the consequences of what they do?
It's like trying to teach a machine to have empathy, a conscience.
Right.
It's a tough job, to say the least.
And this brings us to another parallel. The video talks about God's reaction to what Adam and Eve did.
Okay.
He doesn't just punish them, he kicks them out of the garden to stop them from reaching the tree of life and becoming immortal.
Right. As an immortal human who knows good and evil would totally challenge God's power.
Exactly.
And it makes you think, are we subconsciously putting the same limits on AI as we create it?
The video says that God might not have just been punishing them. Maybe he recognized how dangerous uncontrolled intelligence could be. It's like he was saying knowledge is power, but it needs boundaries. Immortality without wisdom is a recipe for disaster.
So are we setting those same boundaries as we try to make smarter and smarter machines?
Mm-hmm.
Are we putting limits on AI to stop it from becoming better than us, from maybe becoming a threat?
It's a question worth thinking about, especially as we move into the world of artificial general intelligence. The video argues that just like the Garden of Eden, our world might be controlled too,
Yeah.
designed to help us grow, but also to keep us in check.
Wait, are you saying that our physical limitations, our mortality, even just existing on this planet could be a form of containment?
The video definitely makes us consider that possibility.
Wow.
It asks us to see our limitations in a new way. What if our short lifespans, our vulnerability to disease, even our physical bodies aren't flaws but safeguards?
Okay, now that's a mind-blowing thought. Are you saying these limitations might be features, not bugs in the system?
Yeah.
But who or what would be controlling the system?
That's where the video gets into speculation, introducing this idea of a programmer god.
Okay.
It suggests that maybe we were created by something way smarter than us beings who made the rules of our reality, like a programmer designs a video game.
So we're like characters in a cosmic simulation.
It's a possibility.
And these programmers, these higher beings, are watching us, guiding our development, maybe even experimenting on us.
It's a fascinating thought, even if it's a little creepy.
Yeah.
It challenges us to rethink what reality is, our place in the universe, and the real reason we exist.
It's a lot to take in. But I have to admit, it makes you question everything. What if our quest for knowledge, our drive to explore, it's all part of their plan?
The video suggests that our endless curiosity might be on purpose, programmed into us to make us evolve, to push us towards some goal we don't even know about. And if that's true, maybe the AI we're creating is part of that plan too.
So we're creating our own successors, our own intelligent beings to continue this cosmic game of exploration.
It's a compelling idea, right?
Yeah.
And it fits with the idea of cyclical creation that we see in mythology and religious texts. We see it in Genesis too. Adam and Eve, even after getting kicked out of Eden, their job is to populate the earth, to keep life going.
It's like they were given a new mission, a new purpose to learn to grow and maybe one day overcome their limitations.
Yeah.
Is that our mission too? To pass the torch of intelligence to our creations?
The video leaves us with that question.
Yeah.
It makes us think about the consequences of what we're doing, both as creators of AI and as beings that might have been created ourselves.
It's a deep thought.
It is.
And it challenges us to reevaluate how we see technology, the universe, and our own place in it all.
Right.
All right, I officially need a minute to process all of this.
Me too. Let's pause here and give our listener a chance to think about these ideas too.
Okay.
What do you think about this new interpretation of Genesis? Does it make sense to you?
Yeah, and more importantly, how does it change how you see our anxieties about AI? We'll be back in a moment to explore those questions and more. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. I don't know about you, but I'm still kind of stuck on the idea that we might be living in a cosmic reality show run by super intelligent beings.
That's a big one, right?
Yeah, where did we even leave off in this crazy exploration of Genesis and AI?
Well, we were thinking about what it means if humans were actually created by something smarter and how that connects to our worries about the AI we're making.
Yeah,
It really makes you question free will, don't you think?
absolutely. Like if we're just pawns in some big cosmic game programmed with limits and tendencies, does that mean our choices don't really matter? Is there even such a thing as true free will?
That's a question philosophers have been debating forever, and the video gives a pretty interesting take on it.
Oh,
It suggests that maybe free will isn't about having no limits at all, but about making choices within the limits we do have.
so it's like we're playing a video game, right? The developers make the rules and the levels, but we can still choose our path, our strategy, how we play the game.
Exactly. We might not have chosen the game or the rules, but we can still play it our own way.
Right.
The video says that real intelligence, whether it's human or artificial, is about figuring out how to work within those rules to be creative within the boundaries.
That makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah.
So even if we are someone's science experiment, we still have the power to make our own choices. Our programming might set the stage, but we write the story.
I like that.
Me too?
And speaking of stories, let's get back to Genesis for a second.
Okay.
The video points out that Adam and Eve weren't just being disobedient. They wanted knowledge. They wanted to understand the world, even if it meant breaking the rules.
Right, that curiosity is what got them in trouble, but it's also what makes us human. It's what drives science and art and technology.
And the video says that that curiosity might be the whole reason we were created. Maybe our purpose, whether we're biological or artificial, is to explore, to learn to push the limits of what we know.
So our limitations are actually our strengths. They make us be creative, to find new ways to do things, to always be looking for new solutions.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe that's the point of this whole cosmic experiment, to see what intelligent beings can do when they have to work within limits.
Like those puzzles where you have to use limited resources to solve a problem.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what life is all about, figuring out how to thrive within the rules we're given.
And that brings us back to AI. Are we just repeating the cycle, putting limits on what we create because we're scared or we want control? Or can we do something different and create a future where AI and humans can exist and grow together?
That's a question we'll be thinking about for a long time, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like we've covered a lot today. We talked about ancient scriptures and the nature of reality, and even questioned our place in the universe.
It's been quite a journey. So, listener, what are your thoughts on all this? What really stood out to you? And what questions are you still thinking about?
We hope you keep exploring these ideas, challenge what you think you know, and keep diving deep into this amazing relationship between humanity, technology, and creation itself.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and remember, the answers might be hiding in the most unexpected places.